Yo, what is going on, everybody? This is Mysticall. Today I'm bringing you a video going over the Night Fae Covenants and Soulbinds. So, from what I could tell, the only difference with the conduits is a conduit for the Night Fae ability, Failing Stomp. What this does is it makes your Failing Stomp deal 10% additional more damage per target, up to 10% additional damage, so up to 10 targets. So that means you could do more damage with the Stomp right here. This spell is absolutely beautiful. So besides that, I will put a link in the description to all of the conduits. These are all the same as the Necrolord ones. So it doesn't matter what covenant you pick, they still have the same covenants. So, oh, and by the way, the Soulbinds change depending on the covenant you choose, just not the conduits, just to be clear. So I'm going to go through the rows and the abilities that each one of these has and try to determine which one is pretty solid for Mistweaver in general. I went through it on stream yesterday, but I kind of want to make a video about it so I can be a little more clear. So this first one is Run Without Tiring. So while in Soul Shape, you generate 5% of your maximum health every 3 seconds. And in this one is Stay on the Move. Soul Shape's cooldown is reduced by 15 seconds, and defeating an enemy reduces Soul Shape's cooldown by 1 second. This is probably going to be the go-to choice for Mythic Plus, but I would say this one, actually this one could also be used for almost any content. I think this one's going to be the best because you could heal while in this form as well. So you could port away and heal and also heal 5% of your max health every 3 seconds while you're in here. It lasts for 12 seconds. So you get a decent amount of healing, and again, you could heal while it's active, which is what's really good about it. So then you would have to put in a potency conduit, so you'd have to choose one of these, and I can do, let me see, let's do Jade Bond. I like Mastery, and then you would need a finesse one, so let's get rid of the potency ones. You would need one of these down here, and I really like this paralysis one. It's really, really cool. So then we come to this little section of here of 3 abilities, and we have Naya's Tools Burrs. Your damaging attacks and spells have a chance to toss a Naya's Spiked Burrs under your target. These latch onto the first enemy it crosses, reducing movement speed by 20% and inflicting 601 nature damage over 6 seconds. So this is probably going to be the go-to for like Windwalk. It actually could be used for Mistweaver, but I think it's probably going to be Windwalker or Brewmaster just because they have more attack spells. Your interrupts, so that means for Brewmaster and Windwalker, it'll deal 3,000 damage over 30 seconds. And then they take additional damage, so interrupts kind of are important and help you increase your damage. That's really nice to have. You know, you're getting rewarded for interrupting a target, so this could be good. I don't know if it's better than this or what this one's going to be. Your helpful spells have a chance to apply Naya's Invigorating Herbs, increasing the target's haste by 95 for 20 seconds. So I guess this one's going to be the best for Mistweaver, just because these other ones are damaging abilities. At least in PvP. In PvE, this one actually might be the go-to choice because you're spinning crane kicking a lot, so you're doing quite a bit of damage. So there's a chance that this one is more useful. But for PvP, we don't have an interrupt, and we don't do enough damage, or we don't have enough damaging spells where it matters, so we'll probably just stick with this one. So if we go here, we'd have to do, again, we'd have to use another finesse conduit, so we can go with the Transcendence. Yeah, let's go with the Transcendence one. And then we'd have to go with a Potency. We have to come back up here, and we will do this one. Okay. So this is our path so far. And then we have these last 2. Nature Splendor. You have a chance to obtain leather, meat, and fish when you kill an enemy that yields experience or honor. That might be good for gold making, if anyone does gold making. And then Swift Patrol movement speed increased by 20% for 2 minutes after defeating an enemy. This seems pretty good for leveling. I think while leveling, I'm just going to stick with this one. And then the final tier, Grove Invigoration. Healing or dealing damage has a chance to grant you a stack of redirected anima up to 10. Failing Stomp grants you 1% maximum health and 2% increased mastery per stack for 30 seconds. So what that means is this is my path right here, and this final one, what that means is anytime I heal or do damage, I get a chance to get a stack. If I get to 10 stacks and use Failing Stomp, my health is increased by 20%, or 10%, and my mastery is increased by 20%, which is really, really good, especially, again, if we're using a lot of our mastery as healing in PvP and PvE. Mastery is always pretty much up there on the healing charts, so I think that's really important. And this one looks really good just for healing output wise, and even survivability. I don't know if you could use this while silenced or not. I don't know if you can or not, but it would be really cool if you get silenced, you could just use this and increase your health. It's like a wall pretty much. So now we have the Dreamweaver, and it doesn't even give us a choice at the start. We just have Field of Blossoms. Failing Stomp puts flowers at your feet for 15 seconds. That increases your haste by 5% while you stand with them. Flowers may only bloom once every 1 minute. So this has a 1 minute internal 1 minute cooldown, and this is just an additional benefit of Failing Stomp. It's probably gonna be really good for PvE. I don't know what this final ability is. Oh, this is, yeah. So I don't think this one's gonna be for PvP. I think this tier will probably be for like PvE content. So then we put in our conduit slots here. I don't have it unlocked, unfortunately, but we can just go through the abilities. So we have Social Butterfly. When at least 2 allies are within 8 yards, your versatility is increased by 5% for 5 seconds. When this expires, 2 nearby allies gain this bonus for 5 seconds before passing it back to you. At first, this seems really good for PvP, but then you realize 8 yards is literally like from me to Aknop. This is probably 8 yards right here, probably less. This is probably 8 yards. So odds are that you're not gonna be stacked on your teammates that often, but you know, there are gonna be occasions where you're gonna push them for leg sweeps, or you know, maybe if you're playing Korayn, you'll be doing some damage. So this could be useful. The 5%, it's percentage. So if you have a lot of versatility and you're stacking it, 5% is quite a bit. So this could be useful in PvP. It might find more use in in Mythic Plus probably, when you're closer to your teammates. Soothing Voice. When your roots, stuns, and incapacitating class effects end, your target's movement speed is reduced by 90%, decaying rapidly over 2 seconds. This is really good. This just feels really, really good. So you could, if you're getting trained by a Demon Hunter or a Windwalker, or both, and you leg sweep them, even if they trinket, they're still gonna get slowed because this is after the effect ends. So, and then if your in-cap breaks while you're healing, it's still 90% slow. Let's say you catch a healer LOS and you in-cap them, they're still gonna be 90% slowed. I am curious though if this stacks, the Soothing Voice stacks with there's one with your in-cap right here. When paralysis ends, your target's movement speed is reduced by 60% for 5 seconds. So I'm wondering how these two interact with each other, just because they're both real. This one's 60, this one's 90. So I just want to know if there's some kind of stack. Also, it says roots, and we don't have roots. I'm probably assuming that's Windwalkers, which is even more insane because you could just keep rooting and keep slowing them. So this is a really good ability to have for PvP. Empowered Chrysalis. 10% of your overhealing received or done remains as a shield on the target up to 15% of the caster's health lasting for 5 seconds. I thought this was gonna be good, but then it only lasts for 5 seconds. So I think this may be used for raiding. I don't know. I don't even see it really being used in raiding too much. I feel like this one might be good for the 5% additional versatility. Versatility increase your healing. So I think these two are gonna be the go-to. I don't see much use for this one. And then obviously you put in your conduits, and then you come down here. Fairy Dust. When falling farther than 20 yards, Fairy Dust slows your fall. I think that's so cool. Especially in PvP and RBGs, Lumber Mill, and jumping down to mines. You could just slow fall and not die. And then you have Somnambulist. Every 1 hour spent in a rest area grants you increased gold from next world quest you complete. Stacks up to 5. I mean, if you're gold making, kind of like this one over here, I would say go for it. I prefer Fairy Dust. I think that's really cool. And then we have Pod Tender. When you would take damage that would kill you, instead rejuvenate within a wild seed, regaining 30% of your HP over 10 seconds. If the wild seed takes more than 10,000 damage during this time, you die. This effect can only occur once every 30 minutes. So don't really see a use for it in PvP, but maybe for progression and raiding, or maybe for Mythic Plus, I don't know if this is going to count as a B-res or not. This seems like it has its uses. Probably progression rating, to be honest. I feel like the other ones are like pretty good for Mythic. This one's really good for Mythic Plus. So yeah, I maybe rating and progression, but I don't think anywhere else. And then finally we have Korayn, and we have Horn of the Wild Hunt. Soul Shape increases movement speed by all allies within 40 yards by 10%. I feel like that's gonna be really good for rating, especially if you have like mechanics where you need to run to a certain spot or avoid something, kind of like Mythic N'Zoth right now, where you need to like run with the little things on the ground that go spawn underneath you that drops on the ground. I feel like this is really good for that kind of fight. Wild Hunt's charge. While out of combat, your Soul Shape's teleport becomes a charge, stunning your target for 5 seconds and ending your Soul Shape. So that means when you're out of combat, this port turns into a charge, and you could charge somebody for 5 seconds. Now that could be weird because it does say you need to be out of combat, so I don't know how that interacts. I need to test it pretty much. I need to test it. Like, I don't, can I port, and then once I leave combat quickly, does it become a charge, and then does it stay a charge? So pretty much we're gonna hopefully test this. If this gets unlocked somehow, or if I find a way to unlock it, maybe I'll just go through campaign and unlock it. We'll see. But I need to test it. This is really good for PvP, and it might find its uses in like Mythic Plus to charge certain things, but this also might be good for Mythic Plus too, just for running. So we have Face Your Foes. When in front of your target, your spells and abilities decrease the damage they inflict on you by 2% for 2 seconds. Which is, it's worded a little awkwardly, but I guess if you're facing them, they just deal 2% less damage to you, which isn't bad, but if you're playing against a rogue, normally they're behind you. Damaging an enemy before they damage you increases your chance of critical strike by 10% for 10 seconds. I like this for rating just because of the increased critical strike, but it only lasts for 10 seconds. So yeah, I don't really see much of a use. And Hold the Line. After standing still for 5 seconds, you take 10% less physical damage until you move. So I was thinking about this on stream the other day and talking about it. Imagine if you get full kidneyed, and a kidney shot is what, 5-6 seconds. So you're standing there for 5 seconds, and then afterwards, once it's over, you just take 10% less physical damage if you just keep casting. Now, odds are that you're probably going to port, but it's still pretty, it has its uses. I mean, especially if you're standing, let's say they try to go for a swap on you and you've already been standing still for like 4 seconds. That means 1 second into the kitty, you're going to take 10% less physical damage. So I think Hold the Line is going to be the go-to for PvP, and these two probably for PvE somehow, maybe First Strike. So you come down here, you put in your little conduits, and then we have the 4K sharpening technique. Your weapon takes no durability damage. That's a nice repair bill right there. Get in formation. Your mounted movement speed is increased by 3%. Allies behind you within 40 yards gain this benefit. I'm a little cheapo, so I'll probably go with the sharpening techniques because I'm tired of my repair bill being like 1,200 gold. And then we have Final Moments. Your healing and damage to targets below 35% is increased by 3%. When an ally dies, its benefit is increased to 15% for 30 seconds. This enhancement may only occur once every 5 minutes. I find this is going to be the go-to for Mythic Plus. I believe, just because there are a lot of times where people drop below 35%. It's a 5-minute cooldown, so I don't think raiding is going to find much use for it, just because most fights only last about 5 or 6 minutes anyway. So I think this is going to be pretty useful for Mythic Plus. So that's all of the Soulbinds for the Night Fae. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I just want you guys to know, this is my go-to covenant right here. 100%. I know that Necrolord might have more useful abilities, but just playing around and just being able to port and stuff, and this first Soulbind right here, just this whole first row, I really like. I kind of like this charge too, but this last one really isn't that good. I really like this path right here. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. If there's anything you guys want to see, please let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions you have, or make any videos that you want to see. I could upload some Windwalker skirms that I did a few days ago too. And with that said, that's pretty much it. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I'll see you later.